Hello and welcome to the Reeton Entertainment Podcast, episode 393 for April 2nd, 2023. My name is Nathan Reeton Spruth. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
It's me.
And a kitty cat.
And a kitty.
And we're also joined by Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
So we watch anime. So we play League.
And we're also joined by special guest, Nicole. Am I allowed to say your last name?
Yes.
Okay, Nicole
I'm
Robinson
a public
Carroll.
Yeah, I'm a public figure. It's totally okay.
Okay, some people, they just don't want to have their last names on podcasts and stuff. So,
and we're joined by the anonymous Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Can you put a cool filter on my voice?
No.
You can, but Reeton will not do that.
I will not.
Well.
No, I would have to do that as multi-track audio, and I'm not doing that. So
Let's just
Hey,
use
I got the skills to do that. But anyway,
I could do it.
yes,
but
it's been a minute and a half, but I'm digging the new music.
Thank you. That was done by Evan
Some
Brown, I believe.
Person on Fiverr?
No, it wasn't done by some person on Fiverr. That was done by a guy from a band named Seamus that was featured in Rock Band.
Cool.
Anyway.
Very cool.
Evan Brown, I believe his name is. Anyway, let's start with Nicole, since you're hardly ever here. Have you played any fun games this week?
Yeah,
Wait, what am I supposed to do? What am I doing here? I need to ask where you're from first.
Oh, yes. Well, are you talking about what I
Like
create?
Where you
or...
could be found online.
Yes,
you want to advertise.
Yeah.
Get your plugs
well,
out of the way.
Okay, well, funny story. I accidentally deleted my YouTube channel.
Oh, wait. How did you accidentally? It's just delete. Did you get drunk?
No,
Is that?
Actually, what happened was I was clearing out old email addresses, and I accidentally deleted the Google address that was attached to the YouTube account.
Oh.
And I think there's a way to recover it, but I haven't figured out how yet. But in any case, I'll just skip that because I'm the morning edition host on KUNC in Greeley, Colorado. And
Yay.
so you can find me at kunc.org. I'm also on Twitter at KUNC Nicole, Nikole, and on Instagram I am at NRC_on_KUNC.
Nice. Now with the NPR, I know when you were in Vegas, it was online. Like you could go online and there was a broadcast that you could listen to there in case you weren't in the area. Is that the case where you're at now as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can go to kunc.org and there's a live stream there, and you can also find some different stories I've done and some of my colleagues have done.
Good. Well, that's fun. And Ro and Connor, where can we find you?
Aroa.website. And
What?
Where can we find you?
Yeah, there. Sorry, he knocked my headphones off again.
Oh, I was
Really
wondering what
likes
the
to
hell
do
was going
that.
on. I was concerned. Yeah, you could find us at Aroa.website. One of those links is Clinton Score Classics, which is my first edition Pathfinder actual play podcast of Rise of the Rune Lords. And you should check it out because I work hard on that.
What? But it's ours. It's not just yours. It's ours.
It's his.
He does all the work, dude.
He
I
does
pay
all
for
the
it.
work.
He does pay for it. So yes, you are the producer.
I was gonna
That
say.
does not make you the owner, though.
I was gonna say something really bad.
I say, does he get a producer credit on Rise of the Rune Lords?
I was gonna say I'm the Harvey Weinstein of.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that.
credit.
Probably not. And of course, you can find me, Nathan Reeton Spruth, everywhere at Reeton. So Twitter at Reeton. You can find me complaining about Logan Paul being at WrestleMania because I think he should be in prison. And you can find me at Twitch Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. On Twitch at twitch.tv/Reeton. And you can also find my YouTube. mainly just post my podcast on there right now, but I also have the podcast everywhere. So if you're listening to this on Spotify but want to listen to it on Amazon or Stitcher or whatever, I'm there as well. So let's move on and ask Nicole what games you played this week.
And now we get back to where we were.
Yes.
What is the
So,
format?
right. Well, last time I was on here, the plugs were at the end. So a lot has changed. But in any case, this week I picked up, in the last couple of weeks, I picked up Chrono Cross because Chrono Trigger is a favorite of mine, and I hadn't played Chrono Cross. So I've gotten a little bit into that. It's fun. You know, I know that people are not a big fan sometimes of the PS2 era graphics, but you know, it's okay. The new edition on Switch has a little bit of an upgrade to it, so that's cool. And I also have been playing a game that we're actually going to talk about in the stories in the newscast, I believe. Oh no, we're not.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Chrono Cross
Yeah.
was made for the PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's older. It's older than I thought. Even okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm Nathan. I'm going to correct you on when Chrono Cross was made.
Well,
Yeah,
bro, it's not the first time. It's not the first time I've been mansplained to. It's not going to be the last. It's all right.
Listen,
But
if they can make fun of you, we can make fun of Nathan.
One graphics.
Well, anyway, it's an old ass game that I haven't played yet, but now I'm trying it out and enjoying it.
Good.
And in any case, but the other game, I was actually looking through our list of stories here, and I thought we were going to bring it up, but we're not. So the lovely little April Fool's game that was released by the Sonic team that's actually real, The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. As soon as I found out about it, I had to download it and check it out, and it is really cute and really fun. The only thing I'm having an issue with is some of the grammar issues and spell. I'm seeing lots of misspellings, comma splices, and my inner grammar geek is like raging, and I'm fighting her every step of the way. But it's a really cute game, and I recommend it, especially since it's free.
Yeah.
Getting what you paid for.
I figured we'd talk about it because I think Aroa also played that.
I did.
Yeah, see.
Did you finish it already?
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
About 3 hours.
If
The
I didn't
trailer
have a
did.
good.
The trailer did make me crack up pretty hard. The where it's like, join us on Sonic's biggest adventure next, where he is dead. I was like,
Aw.
Sonic
Yeah.
goes to hell.
I don't know. I might have been able to finish it if I didn't have an almost 5-year-old running around. That's how much
Yeah.
has changed since the last time I was on the podcast, folks. I think I just popped him out the last time.
Yep. 5 years. We've been doing this podcast for too long
How have we been doing this shit this long?
and still have no popularity. Anyway,
because we have no marketing budget.
that's
Right.
true. That's true. So, Aroa, what games have you played? Sonic game.
Yeah, I played that Sonic game. I streamed the whole thing on the Twitch. It was my first Twitch stream in like at least a year. and that
You've
was-
done Twitch streams within the year, I think.
Yeah, you might be right. I
But-
don't remember what
probably-
the one was before.
It's probably WoW. Let's face it. It's probably World of Warcraft
it
or
was.
something.
I don't know. It was something stupid,
Yeah.
certainly. In any case, yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot. Yeah,
Good.
it's
Did you play
just
anything else?
cute little point and click. Not really. I do think if you're a fan of the Vampire Survivors, which everyone should be, you should check out the new beta. That you can get the code for it in the forum on Steam. The new beta is testing out the Unity engine upgrade. So
Okay.
oh hell yeah! I will
Nice.
yeah,
look into that.
they're finally right on the edge of moving everything over to Unity, so the frame rate won't take a big shit whenever more than like 20 enemies get on screen. And there's also new DLC coming, and I imagine that they'll probably show up at roughly the same time. So yeah,
Cool.
really cool.
And anything else notable? Did the kitty play anything?
Uh,
Well, yeah, that's the most important question.
we played hide in the basement, and the kitty had to go in a carrier so that the other cats wouldn't try to attack him.
Oh,
Um,
I see.
it's a real fun time because we got to be part of the big storm chain came through the
Oh.
Midwest on Friday evening. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I played before we move on to Connor. I played. My girlfriend's cat decided to get behind the dryer because she wanted attention. I was talking
See,
about that.
I mean,
this
that's
cat
probably
only
not
has
why
3
she did it.
legs, so he can't really jump anywhere.
Oh, that's sad.
Now, see, my cat just likes to sneak up behind the dog and smack her on the ass and run.
And then we have Connor. What games have you played this week?
It's me. I played Staying Sick at Home this week, so I got a lot of Steam Deck time in, kind of.
Good.
I played a little bit of Battlefield 2042 in like the hour-long increments that I'd be out of bed playing video games. That was fun. I've been trying to think of why I enjoy this game so much, and like I'm not just getting bored of it. And it's 100% the setting. I like walking around the worlds. I like seeing how maps evolve as war happens on them. If it wasn't interesting and pretty to look at, I definitely would not be playing it as much as I am.
Now, are you playing the
And-
multiplayer or are you playing single player?
I don't think it has a single player. I might be
I don't
wrong
think
about
so
that.
either.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
just multiplayer. I said this last week before too. First-person shooters, like fast-paced ones like this, look great with ray tracing. Holy cow!
Mm-hmm. They do. A lot of times I don't think it's worth the frame rate drop, but it's still they look really good.
If I don't have YouTube playing on another tab, I can usually get a solid 60. It's bootiful.
Yeah, but I have a 144 hertz monitor.
I mean, yeah, so do I. And I just, anyways,
Yeah, you just make it run at 60.
Yeah. Go.
Because
What other games?
The human eye can't see above 20 frames per second anyway.
you
I
get out of
am
here.
going to fly to Illinois and smack you upside the head.
What I've mostly been playing this week to spare a row of the Wrath of Reeton is Shenmue on my Steam Deck. And this is a great game to play like in between your NyQuil naps. Because you got a little notebook on it, and when you wake up, you're like, oh, what was I doing last time I played? All your notes are over there, and it's basically telling you what to do next, or telling you to go and find out what to do next. I adore this game.
Notes.
Like I'm at a point now where I've memorized the map and like don't need to look where anything is anymore. And this is a game that really shines when it feels like home. And boy, does it feel like home right now.
I like that you have notes on there, and one of the notes is probably get a high score and hang on.
I mean, hey man, there is a way to get video games for your Sega Saturn in that game. I
are
don't
there?
know exactly how to do it, but I'm sure I'll find out before I'm done playing, so I can play Hang On anytime.
Was it Animal Crossing? One of the the GameCube version, you could get NES games on that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool. I like being able to unlock games like that in those types of games.
It was sweet as fucking Animal Crossing too.
Yeah. And you could do it with the e-readers stuff. Like you could get cards that could
You can do it in
swipe in.
Sonic Adventure DX as well.
Nice.
New
yeah,
Horizons
you can
doesn't
play
have anything that cool.
No. It should, but they wanted to lock all the NES and Super Nintendo stuff behind a paywall.
They
Anyway.
also just haven't made a good Animal Crossing game since the 3DS.
Fucking
Which is
man.
a shame because New Horizons was my first one.
Oh no. I was actually thinking about that. I'm glad you said that. Why isn't there an Animal Crossing competitor like the Walmart brand available on Steam?
There are
Rune
like
Factory.
30 of those, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
Rune
aren't there any
Factory's
good ones?
coming
I
out.
mean,
That
Well-
depends on, I guess, your standards, but
Stardew
there definitely
Valley?
isn't anything quite as in depth.
Yeah, because they're
No,
Stardew Valley.
Valley's more of like a Harvest Moon thing.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't consider that Animal
And
Crossing.
what about Rune Factory? Isn't that
Rune
one
Factory
that's
is way too in depth.
okay?
I don't think that works either. You want something more like, I think it's like Cozy Island or something like that.
Mm.
Like
that's the vibe I'm going for. There was a game they made like when the Switch first came out that was just like, you're on a beach and it's summer and you have mini games that are your jobs. It's all pixelated and stuff. I never played it, but I think that's sort of the atmosphere.
yeah, there are a number of Animal Crossing wannabe games out there. There was like a huge influx of those right around the time that everyone started realizing New Horizons had about 30 hours of content, and then there's really no point in continuing playing it.
Yeah.
Except to
pretty
see
generous.
Flick every week.
Yeah, like you can do your weeklies, and that's about it. It's like an MMO with no new content.
They
Yeah,
don't
but
even have
Flick is best
dailies.
boy.
They don't even have dailies. It's all just 1 week stuff.
I mean, they do have dailies, but it's like, check your ATM. Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, it's that like log in every day to get the free coupons for furniture that we stopped releasing new furniture in the collection after like 6 months. So
Interesting.
Do the same photo shoot over and over for the same prizes.
Okay,
Yeah.
hey, man.
We're gonna move on to the games I played this week. I played some Overwatch, and that was fun. And then on Tuesday, I messed up, everybody, because I forgot that Ghostwire Tokyo, while it's out already, it doesn't release on Game Pass until the 11th of April. So I was like, I'm gonna play Ghostwire, and then I pressed the button to load it, and it's like, you're too early.
no, you're not.
Yeah, it's like, nope. I was like, ah, man, because you can preload it. I think that's what got me, was because you can preload it, so it shows on my little bar on the left that it's installed, but when I click on it, it says no. So I always try to log in and change the settings in the game before I start it. That way it's the audio's good and it's on borderless full screen and all that. But nope, not going to be able to do that for a couple of weeks. And then, so I played some WWE 2K23. It's still fun, but it has a problem. The problem that I have with like JRPGs, where I'm playing through the storyline, but I've done all of the side content as well. And so my guy's actually a little overpowered and can just like blow through the matches with like 0 resistance, which is pretty great. But it's also like, this is a wrestling game. There should be some level of competition and not just demolish, like all of them being squash matches.
I was actually going to say, I'm surprised that's not a part of the appeal of like, I'm going to make a wrestle boy and they're going to be the unbeatable, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that can be part of the appeal. Same thing happens, though, in the UFC games. If you're playing through the career mode, you start out like kind of shitty, and then about 30% of the way through the game, you have your stats min-maxed basically to where you just knock people out in like 1 or 2 punches. And you're just going through the motions of facing these enemies. And I just wish there was some
what
challenge.
it's like to be number 1 in the WWE.
Yes. Yes.
They legally make you change your name to Triple H once you do beat the title, though.
Yeah, they do. They do make you change it to Triple H.
Is he still like the top dog in the Wrestle
No.
Boys? I don't even know.
No, Roman Reigns is
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of wrestles, you know how we had the WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
The WrestleMania.
Day 1, yes. They're it's so big. It's over 2 days now.
I like how Cinnamon Toast Crunch sponsored child abuse.
Oh my god.
Like some of the stuff bleeds out into my sphere of like relevance.
What do you mean child abuse?
I mean, Rey Mysterio took off his belt and beat the shit out of his kid.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good match.
And it was sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Where they're doing Cinemoji Toast Crunch. Where all of the where it's emojis now.
I don't want to play this game
Please
anymore.
kill
I'm getting
me.
off this ride.
And one of on the cover is Rey Mysterio's mask is one of the Cinemojis you can eat. Yeah. You brought it up. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there's a new game that released that I don't think, like, we all knew about it, but we had all completely forgot that it was going to release this year, which is Crime Boss Rock-A City, which is Payday, but they have a bunch of actors from the 80s in it, and it's not amazing. I'm having fun with it. There's a mode where it's like a roguelike where you're trying to take over the city. So you're like playing turf wars and you're trying to take over all of the other gangsters' turfs. And, one of them is Vanilla Ice. And another one that you're trying to take out is Danny Trejo, and so on and so forth. But the voice acting's really bad, and like you would expect them to have some voice acting training, but they give the worst performances, especially Chuck Norris. It sounds like he is just reading from the script for the first time. Like, all right, and now we're going to go and take out this person. All right, we're good. That's my giant fucking bag of money. I think I'm going to leave now.
They're probably all doing the same thing that Bruce Willis has been doing for the last decade or so.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
And
just sailing along, selling their name
yeah,
and like a half hour of their time to get a couple dozen $1,000.
yeah, like he has spoken about that, and he's actually retired now, Bruce Willis, because he's apparently got some dementia going on. It's what's been reported. But he came out and said, like, hey, you make fun of me for making these shitty movies. To be fair, they're all shitty. But they're paying me like $300,000 for like a day of work. So I'll do it. And yeah, it's not bad. A lot of the levels are really the same. Like you run through the same places all the time, even with different missions. And I figured out how to do the stealth mode. We used to have a name for this mode, but we can't say it anymore.
We're not going to use the name of that.
It's not great stealth. I figured out that you can buy silenced weapons, and you can't take out guards. If you take out guards, the cops will end up coming. So those you have to apprehend, like you have to, tie them up.
Detain.
You have to detain them. And I found out there are levels with gangsters that you're like trying to rob from the gangsters. And if you have a silenced weapon, you can shoot somebody, and even if their friend is looking directly at them, as long as you're fast enough, you can shoot their friend as well and not set off any alarms. So I found out that just murdering all the gangsters and then stealing all their stuff is the best way to go about it. And it's making the game a lot easier. But
it really is the best stealth technique.
It really is. I would like if I had friends who would play the game, but I understand that it's a $40 game that you can get for $30 everywhere. If it were $20, I might be able to convince like a Roa to get it.
I was hoping it was on Game Pass. Like I just got Game Pass up and running again, so that I could see.
No, it's on Epic.
Oh, fuck that shit! I ain't giving them money.
Yeah. So I bought it on Green Man Gaming, but yeah, it's on Epic. So I don't have a problem with Epic. A lot of people do, but whatever. I don't care. It's fine. The game's fine. A lot of people are giving it really bad reviews. Like it got like a 3 out of 10, and I was like, I don't know if it's functional. And it's fine. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about some news stories. Let's talk about the April Fool's story first. I don't think anyone actually bought this because I try to avoid the internet on April Fool's Day because I just don't want to see all the fake stories. But they did
actually just say, I'm just trying to avoid the internet. Like, it's a lot better for your mental health.
It really would be. But they have a trailer on IGN, and it's linked down below, obviously, where they're talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie voices are coming to Switch Online. They're being added to Super Mario Brothers from 1985, Donkey Kong Country, Mario Kart 8, Luigi's Mansion 3, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and Super Mario Odyssey. And then they feature those voices over the characters in the game. So, like, they have Chris Pratt voicing Mario in the original Super Mario Brothers. Did any of you find any of these particular voices to be funny?
I mean, they were all funny, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny joke.
Yeah.
It's a funny joke, yeah.
I mean, the Tenacious D clips were great with the Jack Black part.
I like that, and I liked the Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. It's like you can't even tell the difference, and he's like,
Yes, the Seth Rogen laugh gives me life.
It was every joke I was expecting them to tell, and that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't see very many. One thing I don't like about April Fools. So I did see some April Fools things on YouTube, and they're always the same. It's always the same joke from YouTube channels being like, "Hey, we're done. We're done with YouTube." And I would prefer if they had a better joke. Because I saw like 3 or 4 of the channels I follow had like, "I'm done with YouTube. I'm giving up on YouTube." Stuff like that. And
I did see someone was like epic face reveal, and it was that dude who bombed the Game Awards, and I was like, "Yeah, I nominate my rabbi."
oh, that was good. We're gonna talk about.
They reached out to someone for that. That took effort. Kudos to that one.
Yes. But yeah, I didn't. A lot of the YouTube ones are bad because it's just the same joke of we're quit. Like Linus Tech Tips did it, and then a couple other ones. At least Linus Tech Tips puts some effort into their fake videos. Like, they did a potato farm one this year, but then Lockpicking Lawyer always does. Like last year it was getting into my wife's beaver, which is apparently the name of a candy machine. And then this year it was unlocking like notebooks that were in the shape of kitties.
Diaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting into a girl's kitty.
Yeah.
It was pretty cringe.
And that's the point. He knows it is.
I laughed a lot at the rooster thing at the end, though. I laughed.
I laughed at that too, where he's like, "Yeah, the guys' notebooks are, really easy to get into, and it's weird though, because most of these notebooks are about 6 inches, but mine seem to be 8 inches." Anyway, be better with April Fool's jokes, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about OBS Studio and YouTube. Apparently they're adding in
Nathan. Mine was an April Fool's thing too. I don't know if you know that or not.
I did. I forgot to click on that tab I forgot to move them in that order.
I wasn't sure if you were taking that serious or not. First, I was like, "Hold on."
No. There is one that Connor posted. I'm sorry. We're gonna move on and talk about that first before we talk about YouTube. But
it won't take long. I promise.
I'm not gonna do the Warhammer minute. So Warhammer minute.
Perfect. Good. I haven't thought about the Warhammer minute in like a decade, homie. Anyways, so I know the people out here listening, they know what Warhammer is from me. And I know when you think of Warhammer, you think only like the buffest macho men. Henry Cavill has Adeptus Custodes. Vin Diesel has Blood Angels. David Tennant he's known to be into Warhammer Fantasy, for example. And with the Warhammer community's official website yesterday, they are offering the opportunity to you, the viewer, the listener, to join in with those hunky buffs and get yourself whipped into shape with their exercise Warhammer. A part of their, I'm trying to remember exactly what they called it without looking at the video. It was like Adeptus Exercisius or something ridiculous like that. Yeah,
I'm looking the fitness Warhammer
So
ergonomically. Nope.
It is the Mark 19 Emperor class Primarch Fitness Warhammer, part of our new Adeptus Exercises program.
Exercises, I love it. Oh, okay. And if you watch the video, there were some parts at the end that had me cracking up, such as misusing this product may cause great damage. Properly using this product may cause great damage.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Terms and conditions apply. -1 to hit applies, which if you're using a Warhammer in the tabletop, it's a -1 to hit because it's a power weapon. Like, these guys know what they're doing. They know how to make nerds laugh.
I like this at the end. It says results not guaranteed. This hammer is supplied unpainted and requires assembly.
That's right.
It would be funny if they did a limited run where they just sold sledgehammers.
I'd fucking buy one.
I know.
That's
I know
fucking
you
hilarious.
Well, yeah, just I wish that Razer had actually come out with like just a limited run of shavers in the shape of a Razer Death Adder,
That would have
because
been
that
nice.
was
That would
their
have been
April
nice.
Fool's joke.
Yeah, that would be cool. To just like in the shape of a mouse.
Yeah. That was
Finally,
it.
a Razer product I want to use.
It still tracks your typing. You have to plug it into your keyboard.
It's got RGB LEDs in it.
That was in
Oh.
the material.
Well, that's fun. They do fun things every year. I
Google
would-
doesn't.
Google doesn't. They
They
did.
used to.
Blizzard used to like own. Did they even do anything this year?
No.
I know. What was it? Think Geek would always have like fake products, and then every
Yeah,
once in a while, those products would come. Come
I actually
out.
bought one of their things. Thanksgiving. I bought one of their April Fool's products one year. The light up hoodie. They ended up actually making that.
Nice. Do you still have it?
Big. I have it somewhere. Big waste of money that was.
Why is that?
But, it like lights up and it makes noise and stuff like that. I never actually want to use it, but it doesn't light up unless you have the noise box on. So I usually
Oh.
just end up sitting there like an asshole with this oversized wizard hood on.
You should. I know what you should do because I know that would be a huge hit on the train.
No, I have yelled at people on the train for making inappropriate noise. That violates the social contract.
Yes, I know. We're gonna move on. We are gonna talk about AV1 and YouTube and OBS. So there is a beta version, but I don't think it's fully released yet. Though it's been a week since I watched this video, so maybe it's actually released. But OBS Studio 29.1 will enable AV1 and HEVC streaming to YouTube, where you will be able to stream AV1, but YouTube will change it to VP9. I think is what it's called.
That's Google's internal thing.
Yeah, but from the videos that were posted with people who have used this, AV1 kicks ass. It is apparently very, very good for live streaming. You can basically cut your bandwidth in half, even by a third, and still have acceptable video quality at like 1080p. So you could do was it EPOS Vox? He did a video and he was saying that like he was able to get pretty acceptable frame rate or a pretty acceptable bit rate at like 4,000 kilobytes. Is it kilobytes or kilobits? I always get the two mixed up.
Bits.
Kilobits. As opposed to 8,000, which you would need before for 1080p content, which is pretty great. I was talking to some people in my chat while I was streaming and talking about this, and I was like, I don't use OBS and I don't use YouTube, so I can't use this AV1 yet, but hopefully this will spurn, XSplit and Twitch to start accepting AV1. Hopefully this will make them be like, oh yeah, we should roll this out quicker. And hopefully that will happen. But one of my viewers / friends was like, hey, so are you going to switch to YouTube? And I was like, no, I'm not going to switch to YouTube. like, what am I going to, like, we've already spoken about this on the podcast. Like, either I stream on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, which is a giant monolithic company that I hate, or I switch to YouTube, which is a giant monolithic company that I hate, which is Google. And what are my other options? And she was like, well, you could quit streaming. And I was
Mixer.
like,
Oh wait.
I was like, here's the thing about it. Like, what am I going to do if I quit streaming? Like, spend more time with my girlfriend? That would last 1 week, and my girlfriend would be like, you should play video games more.
You could always pick up a Warhammer hobby.
No.
I could recommend some good books to you.
I understand that, but I don't want to get into painting Warhammers and then spending thousands of dollars like some people I know.
You got a 3D printer, it's fine.
I need to get a new 3D printer, but
Me too.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get like the one that you have, but I also just kind of want to wait and get like an 8K, like a super high resolution one. They're
Yeah.
getting there. It wasn't like this a couple years ago. They're now at a point where it's getting pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like you can get one for like between $200 and $300. That's like 4K or 8K. And I'm like,
That's about the right price for what I'd be interested in spending too. Like, damn, that's a good deal. Anyways,
and then there are some like 3D printers that are coming out that are way bigger, and you can print like full helmets. It's like only and yes, it's a lot of money, but it's still like $1,500 for a giant resin 3D printer, whereas 5 years ago that would cost you like $8,000.
yep.
It's fantastic.
So Reeton will stop playing video games and become, I don't know, a full-time cosplayer.
Yes, exactly. So, did anybody have anything to say about AV1? I know we all, or at least Aroa and I have looked into AV1, and it's a great codec, but did anybody have any interest in actually attempting to use this?
I only stream in lossless wave, so this is no good to me.
It'll be cool in like 5 years whenever it's ubiquitous.
Yes, exactly. Like I'll be able to run it. Like I would be able to run this because it only works right now, AV1 to YouTube with Intel graphics cards, which I just so happen to have one. So I could actually test this out if I wanted to stream on YouTube, but
Wait, so it doesn't work with the 4000 series?
not yet. It
Huh.
only works. It only works in the beta, at least, with Intel graphics cards. So it does not work. According to the changelog, the feature has been tested with NVIDIA NVENC and Intel. Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong. And Intel encoders up to 4K 60 FPS, but there is no mention of AMD support, which I think the new
cards do have an AV1 encoder, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so most likely all of this stuff is gonna be once 29.1 is released. I am sure that AMD and NVIDIA, like they're all gonna be supported at that point. I'm pretty happy about this just because I think that it's going to make XSplit and make Twitch have to do it, and XSplit's actually already commented. Somebody mentioned this to them on Reddit, and XSplit commented like, "Hey, we're working on it. We'll have some information on this shortly," basically. So very excited about that, but we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about E3. Who here is excited about E3? Anybody?
Oh boy, I'm so excited for my. Let me look at this note here. My favorite gaming news console platform.
Well,
I don't know what's happening to it.
You're about to be heartbroken because E3 has been canceled this year, and only
hold
this
on, the notes are on
year.
the other side. No.
I mean, yeah, we've back in the 2000s and then early 2010s. You know, I would always look forward to E3. When I worked at Sony, I remember us having E3 up on the monitors or on our like TVs while we were working. And now it's dead. It's been dead for the last few years, to be honest, but with more and more companies not supporting E3 because everyone has YouTube and they can just release their trailers there.
It used to make sense to have a place where everyone can centrally gather to get all of their entertainment and video game news, but I mean, people all do their own Nintendo Directs nowadays.
Yeah, and like so Sony pulled out a few years ago. Sony decided like, we're going to do our own thing.
And they haven't released a game since.
And no games have been released for Sony products since. I think Xbox pulled out this year. Nintendo hasn't been doing it for a while because they just had their Nintendo Directs. And those are like, if you're thinking gaming companies, you want those three to be there. And
Ubisoft, a few weeks ago,
yep,
confirmed that they weren't doing anything with E3 and they were going to do their own thing. And like, if you can't even get Ubisoft, then yeah, you might as well just fucking give up.
Yeah, they're like, there's a lot of protests over here, so we're not gonna be able to send anybody to E3.
I feel like this was more E3 was more of a social event in past years. It
Yeah,
seems like,
it used to
and
be.
maybe the pandemic changed that a little bit.
I think it was dying even before the pandemic. If we're looking at like attendance turnouts and like Reeton said, Sony dipped out even a little earlier than before the
Yeah.
world ended.
Mhm.
Well,
So
they had tried to pivot it into like appealing to influencers and all that just before, I think in like 2018 they were trying to do that,
yeah,
and it didn't really pan out all that well. It was just like, okay, you got a bunch of YouTubers on site. Now it's even less professional, and there's still like no big publishers really doing anything with this, so who cares?
well, and
Yeah,
that
When they
wasn't.
stop,
you hardly ever see any YouTube content from E3 anymore.
sure, unless it's some nerd walking around on the floor interviewing people as they walk past. Like it's
Mhm.
E3 used to be something that was like prestigious almost. Like you'd looking forward to the content that would come out of it. And then once they released it to everyone who could pay to afford to get in, it's like, oh, they're just skipping the line to see it all on YouTube anyways. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is in the early 2000s to early 2010s, it was a journalist event. So you had to be part of the press to be able to get into E3. And then they started allowing you to actually buy tickets to go to E3. And that's when I think, we all were kind of like, that's not good. That's going to like dilute it and make it not great. And
So
it's been
did
slowly dying.
did the YouTube video game kind of people who kind of would build themselves as journalists, maybe that kind of bridged the gap of, okay, so we're going with credentialed people, okay, we're also going to go with YouTubers who say they're game journalists. And I mean, was it just a slippery slope?
No. So here's the thing though. They actually, you didn't have to be you didn't have to be a YouTube journalist. You didn't have to be a journalist for like IGN. You could just buy tickets and go.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you said
And
it started out as just a press thing. So I
mhm,
was wondering if the YouTubers kind of slipped in under the game journalist umbrella
they did.
before everything else kind of broke down.
Yeah, there were some, you had to be kind of a major YouTuber. But
Like a
yeah,
Spoonie or an Angry Joe or something.
exactly.
They
You had to
had
be
Boogie
somebody
on
like
there
that.
one year, yeah.
Yeah, and so you could get a press badge, and then you could also just buy a ticket to go. And I never did buy a ticket to go, but I'll never be able to go now. Never be able to go to my favorite event, E3. Oh well.
Well, everyone just like you have other places now where like for PAX is for like indie games for the most part, and then
Mhm.
you'll have like one or two big name companies in there, and you got like Gamescom, and then for all like the big breaking like world premiere shit, you got what's his face doing the Game Awards every year. So like
Keeley?
there's really Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
You have nowhere for E3 to fit in with the rest of this ecosystem. And I'm assuming that E3 had like publishers footing the bill. Like they were probably splitting up like the spots for or with like the big companies that were wanting to be on the ticket. And
Yeah.
so like if you have no one who's willing to put out like $200,000 or $300,000 for the reservation of a room, then like how are you even going to afford to put on the event in the first place?
Exactly.
Whereas you
Like,
have something like Game Awards and it's all just funded by advertising anyway.
yeah, with E3, I imagine it works like any other convention, kind of like that, where people have to buy their spots, basically. And like I know the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, last time I checked, and I'm sure the prices have gone up because last time I checked was a few years ago. But like to get a small booth, just like basically a small area where you can put a table and put your merch on it, that was like $250 for the weekend. And that's a pretty small convention compared to E3, where it's probably like, as you said, $100,000 for a spot, at least.
Yeah, if you're not setting
And
up a
that's on the
booth looking
floor.
to move product, you're you're financially not making it out of there in the green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They lose. They definitely lose
Well, it's
money
part of the
on
marketing
E3.
budget.
Right.
Yeah.
But now like they're like, well, nobody watches E3 anymore, so let's not go and we'll just do our own thing and not have to spend $100,000 or whatever. Let's move on. I love this story because it's such a clickbait title. And
It is. I was a little upset that you posted it, and then I finished the article, and it was okay.
Yeah. Disney has sued Dwayne Johnson and won $30 million.
What?
It's a
That's
clickbait
what it
title.
says.
In December 2021, this is from DisneyDining.com. I have no idea what this website is.
We will boo them.
We will boo them. In December 2021, 3 top studios sued Dwayne Johnson for copyright infringement, alleging he had been operating streaming sites illegally as they featured content from Disney, Universal, and Netflix that was protected by U.S. copyright laws. Who would ever do something like that? Anyway.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Apple later joined the suit as well. Damn. It's getting sued by 6 major companies.
Maui,
So-
how could you?
I haven't read the article.
Yeah, I know.
Is the punchline that this is just a dude named Dwayne Johnson?
Yes. yeah.
Ah,
And
It's
they
not
are
The
riding
Rock.
those curtails as hard as they can.
Yeah. In the
Well-
complaint, the extent of piracy was described as massive as Johnson, no relation to the actor, allegedly operated 2 streaming services, All Access TV and Quality Restreams. The services reportedly sold subscriptions to copyrighted movies and TV shows, including Harry Potter, Jurassic Park movies, The Office, and then through thousands of live channels and video-on-demand offerings. The live channel feed allowed users to access major networks like HBO, Cinemax, and NBC. Consumers could download the platforms onto their devices. So, yes, they sued a guy named Dwayne Johnson, who is not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
dang.
Yeah,
That is insidious.
it
Oh my god.
that's such a clickbait title. Oh, it's
But of
great. I love it.
course, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is kind of involved in some controversy right now too, just because of how he's behaved with respect to like the Shazam and Black Adam movies and all that stuff, and how I don't know, people have been talking a bit about him being kind of a diva about it.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I try to avoid.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I
Hollywood.
have no idea about it. What's going on? Like,
Well,
is he
Black
being
Adam.
a prude or?
Black Adam sucked.
No, I don't think there's a suit happening.
No, there's
Is there?
nobody's being sued, but basically Black Adam sucked. Did not do very well. And then Shazam 2 came out, or is it Shazam 2? I
I think
don't,
it's
yeah.
Shazam too. Yeah.
Oh no, you're thinking of Kazam.
Yes, Kazam with Shaq. No, Shazam 2 came out and it also didn't do very well, but I guess The Rock was asked if he would do a cameo in that, and he was like, no, basically, and like started kind of doing some smack talk and
Yeah. He basically said, I don't want to be Shazam's bad guy. I will only fight Superman.
yeah, and then but
Oh,
that
okay, so he's
doesn't make
pulling an
sense.
Edward Norton. Okay,
Yeah, but then I think they dropped The Rock from
so they pulled an Edward Norton right back to him. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. So it's all dumb. And then now the lead actor of Shazam is mad at The Rock because of other stuff, and I don't care. I really don't care, but
It was just too good of an opportunity to not bring up. Sorry.
right. No worries. It's just I haven't been paying as much of attention to it as you would think I would because wrestling, but no, it's all silly. But going back to the story, customers who subscribed to Dwayne Johnson's 2 streaming platforms enjoyed monthly plans for $25 per month. Video on demand services could be added for additional $15 per month. The suit brought against Johnson alleged that he knew that his actions were illegal in nature. The complaint mentioned Johnson's concerted efforts to conceal the unlawful enterprise and alleged that Johnson attempted to hide his illegal activities by using a website that had the appearance of selling VPN software. In reality, the site was used to sell monthly streaming subscriptions to customers. Can I say it's pretty expensive. $25 per month plus for the base plan, and then adding on like additional services with $15 per month. It's pretty expensive.
You probably reported them for like getting tired of putting up with it. They're like, man, this is crazy. I got to get my illegal stuff somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, start my own jellyfin
It's almost
service.
it's almost like people are willing to pay for a service if it does everything they want. And it sounds like this guy's service just kind of took all the major streaming sites and put everything together in one big blob, and you paid a flat fee for it.
Which
We can't give people what they want. Otherwise, they'll, I don't know, give us money.
that's why I stopped using Netflix. Well, that and them being douchebags, but
It was mostly them being douchebags, but hard agree. Yeah, same.
I haven't watched Netflix in years. Like
But how are
every
you going
once
to
in a
watch
while.
The Strange Thing?
Never seen it. Never watched Stranger Things.
What? You got to watch Strange Thing, man.
You got to run up that hill, run up that road, run up that building.
But like Netflix stopped having all the content I actually wanted to watch because they just let their licenses run out.
And Big
They
Mouth
got rid
got
of
kind of
Futurama.
cringy.
And
Yeah.
Nathan's like, I'm out.
Yeah. So it says under U.S. copyright laws, if the infringement is intentional, the guilty party can be liable for up to $150,000 per work, which is a lot. So in this case, a movie, episode, etc. So a single episode of a TV show that's 22 minutes long could have the same fee as a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, copyright law is not broken at all.
Nope. According to the court documents, Johnson allegedly generated annual revenue of approximately $3 million from AATV alone. That's it's pretty good.
A lot of money.
How many subscribers would that have been? Like that's a pretty hefty amount of subscribers that he was getting there at $25 a month.
You could take all that money and afford like 2 streaming services with that.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on to our last story, which is kind of annoying. Thankfully, I don't really use this particular service of Google, but I don't like it when companies will just randomly, without telling their customers, change their policies, and it's annoying. Google.
Can you imagine if a company just changed their policy and decided to keep your data ransom?
Yeah.
Do you know how frustrating that would be?
Very.
Which is what happened to us with our Clinton Score Classic editing last week.
Oh man.
God, I'm so pissed off about it.
Well, hopefully Craig works. We like Craig so far. So Google Drive does a surprise rollout of file limits, locking out some users of their files. And the new file limit means you can't actually use the storage you buy from Google. This is from Ars Technica.
This also, it's not new. It's still really stupid.
Yeah.
But this had actually been happening for a little while, where people just suddenly couldn't add any more files to their Google Drive, and they would just get a generic error. And only recently Google has formalized the error. So if you have more than 5 million files in your Google Drive, which, I mean,
That's a
that's
lot.
a lot.
But
But
if you're backing up like DLLs and stuff, right? Like super small files.
mhm.
I have a feeling if you have like something that goes out and it just like sniffs the net automatically, like I've got that hooked up to a Python script or something like that, and I'm just logging it on a Google Drive somewhere because I don't have to store it locally, whatever. You are going to be impacted by this. And
Yeah.
it might be time to start looking into a better way to secure your data.
And what's fucking stupid about this. Like, it would be one thing if this was like a limit on the free tier. Yeah, and they mentioned this in the article, but it would be one thing if it was that. But it's not even that. If you're paying for the like 30 terabyte fucking plan, you're still limited to 5 million files. And like, granted, if you're just doing a standard backup of your entire machine to the cloud, you should probably be doing it in a more efficient way. But at the same time, you shouldn't be forced into that if you're just somebody, if you're just a dumb photographer, like you just want to keep all of your photos in the cloud backed up. And like, hey, maybe you're fucking crazy and you have 5 million different photos or whatever. Like, I don't know. That shouldn't be. This should not be a limitation for you.
No,
You're paying for this. And
Photos
that's
tend to
insane.
photos tend to pile up too when you are the parent of a small child with long distance grandparents.
yeah.
yeah, and-
Nick Lotus has 5 million pictures of her son, and that was just from the
Well, I
first
mean,
year.
Let's say that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I mean maybe not.
You know, I helped my grandma with backing up her photos, and she's got like, I think 3,000 photos in her Google Photos account. Like, I could definitely see somebody who does this, or like does photography as a profession, getting close to that. Or if you are, because I don't know about this affecting businesses. Oh yeah, this also affects business accounts. That's fucking insane. Because if you're a small business and you're like a photography business, you could easily hit that. Or if you're really any kind, like an accounting or whatever.
or
Like,
If you
even
track data changes by week or by month, easily.
Yeah. If you're a business and you're backing up all of your users' files and you're like, I'll just use Google. And
First off, bad idea.
Bad idea, terrible idea. But it could be done, and that would affect people's small businesses. And if you have a plan between all of you and you go over 5 million files, which I would imagine is pretty easy to do, then you get locked out. It says here in Ars Technica, somebody got a notification that says, please delete 2 million files to continue using your Google Drive account.
And that's so stupid. Like, Google responded to ours and said the 5 million file cap is a, quote, safeguard to prevent misuse of our system in a way that might impact the stability and safety of the system. So it sounds like whatever file system or permission tracking system that they have running on the back end can't handle much more than that. Because apparently this only affects files that are created by an individual account. So if you add a second account to the same Google One or Google Drive Enterprise subscription, they would also be able to make a bunch of files. But also, you can only share 400,000 files on a single account. So that's not going to be terribly effective in the case that you are doing something weird like this.
Yeah.
Like, again, realistically, you should be probably following better file archiving practices, but that just shouldn't be down to Google to make that decision for them. Google's one of the most powerful companies in the world. They can definitely engineer a way to store more than 5 million files per user in their stupid fucking cloud platform.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do it.
I wonder if this isn't a little bit of them having a case of, oops, we gave them too much for free. How are we going to get some money out of them?
Well,
yeah, that's probably
the thing. You're already paying for it. Like, this is just a hard set limit on something in their back end. Like, I think that this was just like a oh shit, we didn't think people would actually do this.
Let me put it this way. I have 16 terabyte for my secondary computer. And I buy a hard drive, or I buy my multiple hard drives, and I have 16 terabytes. And then I fill up 8 terabytes of that. And my computer's like, nope, too many files. You can't actually fill up your 16 terabytes that you paid for. I would be furious.
You know what's also kind of funny about that is that I think it was Mac OS actually had a problem with that for a little while.
Oh, did they? Like new Mac
y-
OS or this like Apple One Mac OS?
No, this was like I want to say somewhere around like Mountain Lion, probably like 2010-ish. It was not too long before they implemented Apple's like Apple file system. But there was a problem where the operating system had a soft limit on how many files that could be open at any one time. And sometimes whenever like Spotlight or something would go to index all the files on your hard drive, it would run into that limit, and suddenly you couldn't open anything or like do anything because the computer just couldn't open any more files.
Interesting. And would you
Yeah.
have to like reboot your computer to fix
Yeah,
it?
you just
Okay.
you had to restart your computer, or you could try to find whatever was holding everything open, but if it was like a demon running in the background, you wouldn't even know, and you couldn't open the equivalent to Task Manager to even check.
Yeah. And it says here in Ars Technica, it says 5 million 4 kilobyte files would be around 20 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say I do have the slightly higher plan for Google Drive, which I probably should just stop paying for because I never use it anymore. But like I have I think it's 100 or 200 gigs for like $2 a month or something like that. So I'm never like if I could fill that up with 4 kilobyte files and not use the $2 I pay for every month, which is silly. All of it's silly. I also did, while we were talking, my entire computer, across all the hard drives I have connected right now, takes up about 2 million files, is what I have. So if you're, and I don't know why you would do this, but if you're backing up your computer, or you make a backup and you put it on Google Drive, do that 2 or 3 times, and you could just fill up your entire the storage that you have available. And Google just be like, nope, can't. You have to delete this many files. And why this change? I kind of understand them saying, hey, we're going to put limits on it, but not telling your users that, like, hey, we're going to put this limit and now you have to delete 2 million files is silly. They should have had something like, hey, you're over the limit. We won't let you upload anything else, but you can still download, like, all the stuff that's there. You can still access until you get below that 5 million file limit. Because from what it sounds like, you can't even download those files until, like, you can just delete them.
That I wonder if that's actually the case. If it is, that's insane.
Well, that's what it sounds like here, but I'm not sure. Because it says please delete 2 million files to continue using your Google Drive account. Not you have access to stuff. You have to delete these files before you can even use it.
Yeah.
Let me see if I'm going to do a little bit of research, but I don't see anything coming up right away.
Trying to see if I can quickly. I'm doing a.
You're gonna upload
DU.
you're gonna upload 4 million files to your Google Drive.
I'm
quickly
trying to
do
see if
that.
I have that many files on my server. I bet I do.
I did a quick Winder stat, but you're not gonna be able to do that on your server, I bet.
I'm doing NCDU.
Same thing, probably.
Yeah, it basically, but it's going through my photo storage right now, and we're at 50,000 files, and that's 83 gigs out of 3 terabytes.
How
But I
many?
Those are
have-
just Aroa's anime foot photos.
Yeah,
Hmm?
those are
Tell me
just your
what?
anime foot photos.
Oh yeah.
Nicole, how many pictures of your kid do you have? Like, how many terabytes of pictures of your kid do you have? Is what I mean to say.
I'm honestly not sure. A large amount of them are on my Google account, like in photos and such. I'm not quite sure how to see the amount of data that's on here though.
On your Google
They don't
Drive.
make it particularly easy because
No.
I've been getting yelled at by Google for the last like month because I'm at like 94% of my account usage. And I there's no way I'm paying for two different cloud storage
Yeah,
things. I'm already paying for iCloud.
For mine,
Well,
it just says, if you look over on the left when you go to drive.google.com, it says 40.17 gigabytes of 202 used.
yeah, that's what I'm actually looking at right now. And yeah, it's giving me the account storage almost full thing. I have 12 gigs of 15 used.
Interesting. So, and that's
And
probably
Gmail-
mostly pictures of your son.
Gmail will also yell at you and be like, "You're not going to get any more emails." Which
Yeah. Oh, I have to clean out my Gmail all the time.
Wow.
I've never deleted a single email in my Gmail account.
Yeah, me neither.
I still have the welcome to Gmail email from 2006.
Well, isn't that nostalgic?
Yeah.
It is lovely. But
Back-
I also have like 8 gigs of emails because of that.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'd venture to guess that most of my data usage is pictures, and most of them, yes, are of my kid. Once in a while, a cat or a dog gets in there.
Yeah, see, I don't have the kid, so I just take a bunch of pictures of my girlfriend's cat.
It's hard
Because-
to not take pictures of cute animals, though.
I know, right?
Right?
Like, yeah.
And
Anyway,
I just have terabytes and terabytes of photos of other people's kids. I don't know what to do with them at this point.
I thought you were gonna say you had terabytes and terabytes of photos of your painted figurines from Warhammer.
Oh, that would have been good too. I should have said that.
Yeah.
I got a
would
laugh
have
out of it. I'm
been-
okay.
That would have been less horrifying.
Oh, that's creepy.
Anyway, I want to thank you for being here, Nicole.
Well, thanks for having me back. It's been
You're
good.
welcome. As I said, you're always invited. Thank you for being here, Connor.
It was here. I'm gonna go back to bed after this, I think.
Thank you for being here, Aroa.
I was here too. I'm at 300,000 files, and we're just now hitting Nextcloud.
Oh, good. I'm sure you have at least over 1 million files available.
Oh, and this is only on one of my file systems. This is on Uruk. This isn't even Eridu.
I shudder to think how many files my work has. Like, just in general, like how many, because we back up all of the documents to our to a drive. So when they log in, all of the documents actually are backed up to our server.
You have everything on a DFS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I bet you there are at least 10 million files probably. Plus I work for a dentist, so all of the x-rays that we take of people are stored somewhere. Anyway, I've been your host, Nathan Reed-Spruth, and we'll be back next week talking about more stuff. Thank you for being here, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. So we watch anime.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Oh, we
he
play League.
is dead to us.